Hello YouTube, this is Angel Charms. I'm going to record this video in one shot, so if I mess up, well, the bloopers will just be in here. So, I hear that Crystal Swirlz, her charge of child neglect has been upgraded to child abuse. I wonder why. Because remember what I said in my birthday live, that she was in jail for child abuse in the first place. That's what the officer that went to her house and spoke to her roommate said, that they had her in custody for child abuse. And somewhere along the way, while she was locked up, it went to child neglect. But now it's back up to child abuse again. Have they found more evidence? I wonder with Angelo, he's been living in that group home, safe, getting the attention and care and the nourishment that he needs. I wonder if he's somehow communicating what he had to go through at the hands of this person that you see before you. I wonder if he's talking in his own way. But let's talk about that. Child neglect and child abuse. A charge of child neglect might be changed if the circumstances of the case escalate to a level where the child's health or safety is considered to be at serious risk due to the neglectful actions potentially involving physical harm, severe deprivation, or a pattern of behavior that significantly impacts the child's well-being. Essentially, when the neglectful act crosses the line into actively harming the child rather than simply failing to provide adequate care. Crosses the line into actively harming the child rather than simply just, failing to provide for them, but actively harming. Let's see. What are some of the things we witnessed of her actively harming? I mean, we didn't see it on camera, but we heard some things, but we were witnesses. He was sick and throwing up. She was telling him to go to bed and kept giving him sugary sweets to shut him up because she was doing a live stream. Not really bothering to cook him meals, just filling him up with protein powdered shakes and shit. Those 10, 12, 6 even hour live streams where she herself rarely took a pee break. Y'all remember them days? Oh yes, recently we had the pee bucket. Yeah. Yes, that random pee bucket at the very end. But before that, she barely took any breaks. Not for herself, and not for him. Because remember, she had to, you know, clean up his feces and whatnot. But like I said, she was always in front of the camera, so she wasn't going to the bathroom for herself. She sure wasn't worried about whether he had to go or not. And just the verbal abuse of calling him an ape, a demon, wishing she never had him. We were all witnesses to those things. Weren't we, Crystal? But actively harming the child. I may have forgotten some things. If you guys can remember any, drop them in the comments section. But some key points to consider are the severity of the neglect and intentional actions, which often implies a failure to act if there is evidence of intentional action that led to the child suffering. The charge could be upgraded to abuse. Well, we just discussed that. She didn't care about feeding him, just pump him with some sugary snacks or some powdered shake. That was it. Maybe back in the past we heard about some chicken nuggets. Even when Dan tried to teach him how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Crystal's response to that was, "It's a waste of time." A waste of time to teach your child to be as self-sufficient as he could, which was something that could have taken some of the burden off of you. Just a little bit. If he can make himself a sandwich while you sitting here acting stupid as you are on the screen right now, eating honey. He could make himself a sandwich. Peanut butter and jelly would have been a hell of a lot better than whatever those sweet snacks you were feeding him. But you didn't want him to be able to do anything for himself, because if he did that, he could learn another thing, and then what would you have to cry about? What would you have to cry about? What would you have to woe is me about? It's almost like you blamed him for the situation that you put yourself in. You're disgusting. But intentional actions, a failure to act, and you didn't care to take him to the doctor. Example scenarios where child neglect might be upgraded to child abuse. Malnutrition due to intentional food deprivation. I just spoke about that. Failure to provide necessary medical treatment leading to serious complications. Well, there you go. You had taken him to the doctor when you should have a long time ago. You would have found out about his allergies. And his allergies is not what you went to jail for. You went to jail for Child abuse. Extreme emotional abuse or isolation that causes significant physiological harm. Psychological harm. Well, we really witnessed that with the name calling him stupid, ape, telling him that, he heard all this. You're telling us, but he heard all this. You rather have a girl. And oh, how you would unalive him and then yourself. You're not going to lead him to the pedophiles. Don't you mean you didn't want to leave him to other pedophiles? Because you date a 14-year-old, you are a pedophile. Pretty much self-proclaimed. You just sick. You're just sick. But yeah, they've upgraded your ass back to child abuse. Is Angelo talking? Did they talk to New York? I wonder. One thing's for sure, though. You're not talking on YouTube anymore. Yeah, that part.